In this brief module, I want to talk to you about expansion and scalability. Now, this goes beyond just traffic. I am going to cover some scalability things related to traffic, but I want to share with you because I have over 15 plus years of online marketing experience building my own businesses and projects, and of course, working with clients and building theirs. So there are some key rules and lessons and things I want to share with you that I believe can help you ultimately, reach new heights and new goals with your business. If you're really serious about building your business, whether it's a new one or you have an existing business, regardless of how old it is, to reach those new heights that you've never reached before. So we're going to talk about that. Well, to grow your traffic and your revenue, you must scale. When I say scale, that means basically just growing your processes, growing what it is that you do, getting more content, traffic, products, revenue, just building out everything, scaling, growing. That's just exponentially getting bigger. So we're going to talk about that. Now, you'll expand and scale your business by simply bringing in more targeted traffic and making more sales. That's how the core numbers are going to work, right? You want more traffic and you want to make more sales, because that ultimately makes more revenue and will hopefully make you more income, which that's the name of the game with your business. So we're going to talk about how you can expand your market. We're going to talk about how you can expand your product offerings, your catalog of products and services that you currently sell. We're going to talk about how you can expand your traffic sources. We'll talk about how you can expand with acquisitions. And then we're going to cover in this module how you can get the biggest results that are going to come from reinvesting in your business as well as using leverage in your business. And I'm going to explain what each of those are and how you can go about doing it. So this is more of, again, a big picture type of a module here. It goes beyond traffic, but I hope it gives you some good ideas. You may want to take some notes on some bigger moves that you can make with your business when time permits. Of course, you won't be able to do some of these things if you have a brand new business and you don't have a budget to do them. Like acquisitions, like buying other blogs or doing other things like that. But once you get to the point in your business and you can afford it, then you'll want to look to make some of these bigger moves because that's really what's going to, bring in the bigger numbers. So that's what we'll talk about in this brief module, how to expand and scale your business. So the first thing we want to talk about is, can you expand your market? If you want to grow your business and make more money in your business, can you expand your market? So one way to grow your business is to branch out into other countries, into other languages. Are you able to do that? That's what you need to figure out with your business. Are those opportunities there? For some businesses, they won't be, but for others, they will be. And can you reposition some of your existing marketing that's working for different targeted prospects? If you're only selling products mostly to men, is there a female version of the product that you sell? Or is there a way to position it in a different way where it might work for a female audience? Again, this may not be the case for every business, but I have seen many businesses that can put a small twist on their marketing and sell the exact same product to a different audience. So they may have a product that sells more to older people, and there's a way to reposition it and now sell it to younger people, or male to female, or a female product for men, and vice versa. So you'll want to consider that. This, of course, by the way, when you get to this expansion and this scalability process, this is when you've exhausted a lot of the opportunity for your core micro-targeted market, honing in on the best possible prospect for your business and really making things related to them with your content, your marketing, your sales process, everything. But once you've kind of exhausted those opportunities and you want to expand the business, these are the questions you need to start asking yourself about going into other languages. We've already talked about this a little bit when we went over international opportunities, but you need to think, can I go into other countries, or can I reposition the marketing for a different, broader market? Can I sell what I sell to more people that I'm currently not targeting? And then you may want to set up, whether it's a separate site or brand or separate blog, all speaking to those people, ad campaigns and targeted campaigns speaking to just those people in that market. It's often best to separate it because you'll get better results, of course, and more precision control if you're separating it. But you can still create separate websites, separate blogs, separate ad campaigns under your same business, but targeting different types of prospects. So can you expand your market? That's what you want to look to. Can you find other verticals, other markets, other industries, other areas that use your products and services outside of your current target marketing? And in many cases, you can find that. You will be able to find other ways and other people to buy your products and services that go beyond, how you're currently marketing them. I have seen, for example, weight loss products. I have seen weight loss products targeted towards, like a general health audience, specifically like to women that want to lose weight, like after they have a child or something like that. And I have seen the exact same expert with the exact same content and system that they created for losing weight literally take that product and reposition it for golfers, for men that play golf, for increased flexibility, to help them lose weight and have better health, to increase the performance of playing golf and have great success doing it. I worked on a project like that actually, and we did very, very well with bringing that product to a golf market, that product that previously had nothing to do with golf. So start thinking creatively about different verticals and different areas where you can take your product and service maybe and apply them to other targeted prospects in order to grow your business and bring in more sales. And in that example, we created like a whole new brand and website, product, sales video, everything just for the golf market. So it was separate from the other existing market, but it was, all in all the same business. So think about how you can expand your market, and if you find ways to do it, it's a great way to expand your business. Now, one of the best ways to scale and expand your business to make more money is to simply have more things to sell. I've once heard marketers say, the more add to cart buttons you have in the world, the more money you can make. Not always 100% accurate, where you could focus on that one product and really build it out with big marketing, and then you'd make more money than if you had 3 or 4 products in your business where you're kind of breaking up your resources to promote them. But typically, the more things you have for sale that people can buy, the more money you'll make, because you're able to make more offers and have more opportunities for people to give you their money. So the more you increase the average lifetime value per visitor that we've been talking about, well, that changes all the math in this business. So the more money the average person to your business is worth, well, then the more you can afford to pay for traffic and the higher profit per click you can produce. If right now you're able to get customers from Facebook, let's say for $1 or $1.50 or $2, and you're able to turn that $2 into, let's say, $4. Let's say you're able to double it, which would be awesome. Let's say you spend 2 and you turn it into 4. Well, if you could turn it into 6, that would be even better. And pretty much the only way to do that, if you weren't able to raise your price on the one product that's producing the money now and get better conversions, would be to have other things in your process to sell people, whether you give them an upsell when they go at the point of purchase, or downsells if they don't take a certain upsell, or a back-end product that you offer someone, 1 day, 2 days, a week after they buy something else, you offer them, something different. Whatever it is, the more you can get the average person that buys from your business to spend, it changes the math. And of course, you can make more profit for the traffic that you buy. And in many cases, if you expand your products enough, you'll be able to turn a profit from some traffic sources where you weren't able to turn a profit from before, because the average value for each person visiting your website just didn't equal as much money as it takes to drive clicks, let's say from Facebook or certain AdWords keywords. That's just how it works. So as you can imagine, the more a visitor is worth on average to your business in terms of money, the more control and power you have in the market. You can buy traffic that other competitors just cannot buy because they don't yield as much money per visitor. Since you're able to get more money on average from your customers, you're able to buy traffic and turn a profit where others can't. So always keep that in mind. So what other products can you sell your customers? What else would they buy? What kind of upsells, downsells, or back-end offers do you think you could maybe make? You should take notes of this, even if you're not ready to do these things today. You should always keep this in mind, what other products and services you can add to your business. What kind of affiliate offers can you add? What kinds of companies could you partner up with which have complementary products or services to your business's products and services that you could promote as affiliate and get paid a commission on? Can you offer do-it-for-them services? In a lot of businesses, whether you sell like a how-to course or a certain product or this or that, they would pay more money if you would just do it for them. For example, sticking with that house flipping market example, you may sell a course teaching people how to flip a house, how to analyze a house, how to find one. Well, they may want to pay you, $5,000 for you to analyze their market in their hometown city and to find them what is a great property for them to buy and invest in flipping. They would want you to do the full-on market research and analysis to find them a house rather than them doing it all themselves. That's a great example of a do-it-for-them service. If you teach people how to set up websites or how to create their own blog, they're probably willing to pay you a premium if you just go in and set it up for them. Another thing is private coaching and consulting. In a lot of businesses, there's an opportunity to add high dollar coaching or consulting for people that want hand holding, so it's something for you to think about. So think about that. How can you expand your products to have more things to sell to raise the average amount that each visitor that comes into your universe of marketing is worth? Because the more you can raise the value per visitor, the more profit you return on each visitor, and the more, of course, you can afford to buy advertising. And that has a huge effect on your ability to expand and scale if you can turn a profit, at higher click costs. So keep that in mind. One of the best ways to grow your business is to expand your traffic sources. Now, I know you're learning about all these different traffic sources throughout Traffic Secrets, and you're finding all these opportunities. You're hearing about all these different places you can drive traffic, all the methods you can use, different places to buy. And if you exhausted all those sources, every possible thing you're learning in this course, well, you'd probably have a ton of traffic and business, hopefully, coming to you and, hopefully turning into customers for your business. But don't fall into the trap of only buying traffic from Facebook and Google AdWords. That's the number one mistake entrepreneurs make. When people learn about, let's say, the content factory, and then you have to do some content marketing, like, I don't want to do that. I'm not a writer. I don't want to create blog posts. I don't want to do the research. I don't want to monitor competitors. So I'm not even going to mess with that. I'm just going to, buy Facebook ads or just, advertise on Google AdWords. And a lot of marketers today are only doing one thing. Facebook ads are such a great place to advertise now. There's a lot of people running their business online that are only using Facebook ads. And that's fine. I say it's a great place, or probably the best place to start. But you still want to incorporate many different traffic sources. You want to do content marketing because, like I already explained, it's one of the best ways to stabilize your business for traffic. If something were to happen with Facebook advertising where either they banned your account or even if the cost per click got too high with competition, which is kind of what happened with Google AdWords for many different keywords, then you're in trouble for your business. But if you do a little bit of everything where you're buying traffic on Facebook that's profitable, same thing with AdWords, and you're regularly putting out content built with that content factory where you're getting the free organic traffic and you're growing everything together, then your business is much more stable. But don't make this number one mistake that entrepreneurs make where a lot of people only buy like Facebook advertising and or Google AdWords. You need to be testing other traffic sources. So it's not just about creating that content, it's about, buying traffic from other places. Now you can expand your traffic and your revenue by buying traffic from hundreds of different traffic sources like that I've covered in this course. Always test small campaigns and look for new profit centers for your business. Then you scale up by spending more money and, of course, always keeping an eye on the return on investment and the results that it produces. But there are so many different ways for you to drive traffic that without you testing different sources, and you should be testing new things every month. Even if it's just spending $25 to test a new source, you really should do it if you have any kind of budget at all and your business can afford it. Because you'd be surprised, for example, you may test, native advertising, content advertising with like Taboola and Outbrain that I've already covered. And you may find that you can drive tons of targeted traffic to one of your best blog posts And that gets people to opt in. And you're finding those opt-ins really convert at a high level and buy your products and services. And you may find that you can scale up to Boola or Outbrain ads and make a lot more money, a lot more profit for the money that you spend than maybe you do on Facebook ads, or maybe you do with AdWords, or maybe you do somewhere else. But you wouldn't know that unless you tested it. Or maybe there's a blog in your market that gets a lot of traffic that you can sponsor and run like a sidebar, button or banner ad on. And you may do that, or have them, buy like a guest sponsorship post about you or something else. And you may discover that it's a tremendous source of targeted traffic and new customers and money for your business. But you'd never know that unless you at least looked into it and tested it. Facebook ads. If you can get Facebook ads or Google AdWords, or really any traffic to produce money for your business. In fact, I'll just say this. If you have a profitable business at all on the internet, even if you're making $1,000 a month, or even only $500 a month, wherever your business is, if you're able to produce money, if you're able to produce a profit, there's most likely a way to really scale and ramp up that business. Of course, unless it's targeting a very tiny, tiny niche of which there aren't that many customers. But in almost every case, in almost every business, if you're doing any kind of sales at all, you're missing out on maybe 10 times more traffic that's out there, or even 100 or 1,000 times, depending on the market, that's across the internet for you to find. So you always need to look to expand your traffic sources, and don't just become complacent to, getting fat, so to speak, off Facebook ads. That may be bringing you a little bit of money every month and you're content with that. And you're like, I'll just keep tweaking this, trying to scale this. And if I can't make it any bigger, well, that's just as big as that business is going to get. No, you should constantly be trying to get traffic from other places, because a user on Facebook is just like a user on Google, or a user on Amazon, or a user on Pinterest, or a user anywhere else. The whole world is using all these different sites. You just have to find a way to get to those users. And sometimes you can get them a lot more profitably from certain sources than you can from others. But always look to expand by seeing if you can expand your traffic sources. Okay, I want you to pay very close attention to this lesson because it's very, very valuable. I've used this exact model before to help businesses grow many, many times over. I've helped a business go from about $2 or $3 million a year in sales, which was already a very successful business, get to 10, 15, and beyond $1 million per year. This concept can be used in any market, and it's very valuable. And of course, you don't have to be at the multi-million-dollar stage in order for you to do this. It does take a bit of money, but depending on the deal that you do and how it works, it doesn't have to be that much. I'll talk about that. But this is essentially about making content site acquisitions, buying other websites. So one of the most underused business growth strategies online is buying other content sites in your market. You want a number one ranking for a certain keyword? Buy the website that already has the number one ranking. So you can start by running a small test ad on a site. And if it can convert consistently, if it's converting and sending you regular traffic and customers and money for your business, then consider trying to buy that website, especially if it gets really good, consistent traffic. So many websites will actually sell for 2 to 5 times annual earnings. And I mentioned here that due diligence, of course, is critical. You want to really look into, get proof of their Google Analytics from the last year or even 2 years. See how consistent their traffic is. See whatever else they quote that the revenue that the site is making on ads. See all that stuff. But typically, if someone has a little website they created and it's making $2,000 a month, which would be $24,000 a year, they may sell that site for. I've seen sites sell for 1 year's worth of income. So it's making $2,000 a month. I've seen someone sell a site like that for $25,000. But sometimes they sell for 2 to 5 times that. But you may find a little site in your market, let's say it's making $300 a month from affiliate links and ads. And they may sell it for $5,000 or even for $10,000. But if you test the site, let's say you run an ad on the site. And by the way, you may end up doing this accidentally. If you run ads, let's say on Google Content Network, not just Google Search, where your ads will show up in AdSense. They'll show up, if you run banners on other sites. It runs across Google's network. Well, you can look in your analytics. You can see where traffic and sales come from. Well, if you see one site that's consistently sending you traffic and conversions, you go and investigate the site. And I already talked about how you can do direct deals. So bypass like Google and just try to buy a sponsorship or ads directly, which usually will get you the traffic at a lower cost per click because they don't have the Google middleman anymore. Well, if you really find that they're getting good traffic, it's consistent, it's perfect for your business because it's converting and creating customers and money, well, then you can consider buying the website. And I've helped people do this, and it's a great way to grow a business. Acquisitions in general are just how the business world works. You probably see all the time mergers and publicly traded companies, buying other companies. Facebook spent $20 billion and bought WhatsApp. Amazon bought Zappos, the shoe store company. You see it all the time, acquisitions that happen. And it's just a fast way for a business to grow. We're talking about expansion and scalability in this module. Well, that's one of the key ways to grow a business quickly is to acquire another website when it comes to digital marketing. So if you want more traffic and more customers and sales, if you were to buy up websites that can send you, that have that traffic already from the existing rankings that they have, well, you could immediately start growing your business and, of course, growing your bottom line, hopefully. But look to sites in your market, and they could be any size, and so it could be different budgets. Like I said, you may find someone that created a little blog. They posted some articles about house flipping, let's say. It doesn't get tons and tons of traffic. But, let's say it gets a couple thousand total visitors a month, and you run an ad on the top of that site, and it's producing for you, $300 consistently in sales of your house flipping course. And oftentimes what you'll find is, especially with content-only sites, where it's not an existing business, I'll talk about that in the next lesson, but where it's not an existing business as far as it sells its own products and services, it just makes money from like advertising, from Google AdSense links, sometimes from promoting affiliate products, but typically it's just an ad-supported website, and there's a gazillion of them on the internet that have good rankings in Google for any market. So if you find one of these blogs, oftentimes, because they don't have their own products and services, you can convert the traffic for your business into more money than they can. So even if they're making, let's say, $500 a month in revenue from the ads, if you buy the site and if they have consistent traffic and results in how much money they make, you're kind of limiting your risk. There's always risk, of course, because the traffic could plummet if they did something, black hat or something, and Google makes an update. But if their traffic has been consistent, and let's assume that it stays at that level where it's making the $500 a month, you buying the site, it's pretty safe to assume that at a minimum you'll keep making the $500 a month. But what the upside is that you could replace a lot of those ads that are producing that income, or even add more ads, let's say, but that are promoting your products and services that will yield a higher return than what those ads produce. So you want to look into, when you get to that point in your business, to acquiring other content sites in your market. And by the way, I'm going to call this right now, this is the future of all digital marketing growth. This hasn't really happened a lot yet, but I predict we're going to see this happen more and more and more. It just makes sense because as websites become legacy content sites where they get these rankings in Google for different keywords, and they've been there so long, Google rewards them for their aging and everything else. They're very hard to beat those rankings for newcomers. Well, those sites, have value to people that are selling to that market that can use that traffic. And so being able to acquire such a site is very attractive for a business looking to grow. So you'll want to consider when you get to that stage in your business, whether you can afford to buy a site for a few $1,000s or even a site for, $100,000. I helped a client buy a site for about $2 million, but it ended up producing much more than that for their business. Of course, there is risk. You have to carefully do your due diligence. I have to warn you on that. Be careful before you buy anything. Make sure, it is consistent traffic, and everything that goes along with such a business move. There is risk involved. You could lose all the money that you spend on it, so you want to make sure that you're very careful, of course. But it is a great strategy to grow a business if you can get it to work, and if the risk works out, by buying this self-producing traffic source, such as one that has a lot of content, that's got the rankings and is sending regular traffic. So look into possibly acquiring sites in your market, and see if you can make it work and do deals. And it may just be a way that really helps you scale and grow your business very, very quickly. Another way to expand and scale your business is with a business acquisition. Now, in the previous lesson, I talked about buying websites, buying content sites. But the next level of that is literally buying a business, like one of your competitors, one that sells its own products and services. So they may have a content site, they may have a blog, and they may be getting traffic from Google, and they may have all the other stuff that goes with it, social media accounts and everything else. But they're more of a full-blown business because they sell products and services to an end user. Whereas in the previous example, talking about considering to make site acquisitions, that's more about just like a blog or a site that's ranked in Google, and that's where the value is. Well, if you ever get to the size where your business has cash and you can afford it, a great way that businesses expand quickly are by buying other businesses. It happens in every industry, in every market, where people start acquiring competitors and other players. So it's something for you to think about. Now, this is obviously you're gonna have to get to a point where your business is predictable and you're really growing, and of course, you have a lot of cash flow in order to do such a deal. But it may be a way to, really grow your business by acquiring a customer, acquiring their product line, acquiring, their traffic. And of course, then you have to figure out whether to combine the products and the businesses or to keep them as separate brands. But it's definitely more of a long-term thought about acquiring completely another business. So like I said, they happen in every industry. I think we're going to see them more and more online. You should only consider this, of course, if you have a highly profitable business and you have precision marketing where you're not making a lot of errors and you really have everything dialed in. And of course, you're in that strong position to buy a competitor, to be able to make that business worth even more, because it's like the sum of all parts, like 1 + 1 = 3 rather than 2. So you being able to acquire that other business makes your market share bigger and has other advantages to it. Gives you more leverage, right? You have a bigger customer list, social media following, bigger distribution channels, more content, everything else that goes along with that, more products to sell, raise that lifetime value per visitor, all that other stuff we've always been talking about. And if you're in the position, it might make sense to acquire another business. Now, of course, I have to say, a lot of risk involved with that. Make sure you get the right, legal counsel to create the proper contracts. If you buy a blog site or a business or anything, you have to do your due diligence, of course, on how to evaluate that it's getting consistent traffic and that they're making legitimate sales, and do some research on your own about buying a business, and there are books on that subject matter, and I'm sure you can find a lot of good information online from business brokers and things like that. You'll want to do your homework, of course, on the details of doing such a deal, but it's definitely something to consider if your business ever gets to the point where it's really healthy, it's generating a lot of cash, and you have a lot of capital to reinvest, and you're thinking about ways to expand and grow your business. And one way businesses do that is by acquiring competitors and other businesses in their market. So a very important principle in all this to understand is that you must reinvest in your business if you're going to grow your business. So if you really want to explode the size of your business, you have to reinvest some of your profits into the growth. You can't just spend all the income. So the more you can reinvest in the early stages, typically the faster you'll be able to grow. Not always, but in most cases. The more resources you can keep in play to create more content, buy more traffic, do more things, hire help, whatever, typically the faster you're going to, really upscale that business and see that uptick of growth. The more profitable traffic you can buy, the bigger your email list, your customer list, and hopefully the bigger your revenue and profits will get as a result. So it's something you have to keep in mind, that reinvesting in your business for growth, especially when you run traffic campaigns and you buy, you run ads on Facebook or Google AdWords or wherever else you're buying traffic, the more you can reinvest the profits that you make, the more you can really scale things up and reach bigger and bigger numbers. And hopefully that bigger and bigger numbers are bigger and bigger profit. But you always have to keep that in mind. So you have to reinvest. You can't just take every dollar that you make off the table and go, spend it on stuff. Otherwise, you'll really limit the ability for your business to scale and grow. So that's going to be a challenge for you as an entrepreneur. And I hope after you implement the things that you learn in Traffic Secrets and our training, that you do grow your business and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But if that does happen, hopefully it will, then you do end up making those decisions. Well, how much of the profits can I reinvest to make the tree grow? Like basically, how much more seed, fertilizer, water can I buy to cultivate the business to get it to grow bigger and bigger and bear more fruit, so to speak. So always keep that in mind. You have to reinvest if you want to grow your business. It's critical. Last but not least, when we talk about the concept of expansion and scalability for your business and your marketing and your traffic online, you have to understand that maximum results come from maximum leverage. Leverage is such an incredibly valuable and important thing to realize when it comes to digital marketing and marketing online. So you've heard me talk about this, and by now you should realize online, the rich get richer. In other words, traffic can produce and beget more traffic. More social media followers can end up creating more social media followers. More email subscribers can help you get more email subscribers. More pieces of content can help you, get more rankings, can help you bring in more traffic, can get you more shares, and can produce more links to the content, which create better rankings. It's just kind of a self-fulfilling engine. It's a perpetual process that once you reach a certain tipping point, you just really benefit from it. And the people that really benefit online are those legacy players, especially with Google rankings, for example. The ones that have a lot of content that's linked to from all over the internet, where they have tons and tons of different rankings and, they're a different part of the index, they're a bigger part of Google. Well, those businesses are going to have more stability if they've, of course, done things properly. So just always keep that in mind. Max results come from maximum leverage. We talked about this. Top rankings produce more top rankings. Broad social media reaches produce a broader following. The more, followers you have, when you post stuff and they share stuff, the more new fans, people can reach through the ones they already have. That larger email list exponentially grows everything else. You leverage the number of people on the list to get them to go check out the blog posts like we've talked about, to get them, recycle them to go look at the post on Facebook and share it and like it, to get them to go to YouTube and like and comment, review that YouTube video. All those things that will then create a higher ranking and exposure that bring in new subscribers and traffic and hopefully customers and money for your business. More products and revenue, like we talked about, produce more profitable traffic, because the more we can make per visitor, the higher the profit return on not only the traffic that we buy, like I explained, but the content that we invest in having created. That also has a cost that, we call it free traffic from Google rankings, but it's not free because we had to produce the content that got ranked, and that content has a cost. So the more products and revenue that we can produce, the leverage point is that we can create more profitable traffic. We can afford to advertise in places where we couldn't before or where competitors cannot, and we can create more content than we could before. All that is, again, this perpetual machine that then produces more from that leverage. I just said that more content, we can get more pages to be ranked, and of course, more ways we can be found, more visitors that can find us, that can become subscribers, leads, ultimately then customers and revenue, so on and so forth. Higher engagement equals preferential newsfeed exposure that we've talked about. So by having the leverage power to push people from an email list to Facebook, to like, share, and engage with something, or to push them to a blog post where they're sharing it on social media, or they're commenting, or they're, interacting with it, simply just loading it and reading it, which lowers our bounce rates, but also shows Google that people are visiting it, can help it rank higher. So all these different things that we do, the more we keep doing like what you're learning in Traffic Secrets, the more you're learning how to build these different assets, your email list, your pieces of content, your social media following, your products, just everything. And always keeping in mind as well, when we do things properly, where we're doing things for relevance and engagement. We want to have advertising as well as content that is relevant to the audience that we reach. That's what they want to see. We're not ever trying to put things in front of people that don't want to see it and then, of course, won't benefit from it. Because if it has value, then we get the engagement. They don't just leave the page and create a high bounce rate, which hurts us. They don't just, ignore it in the news feed and never like it or interact with it, which hurts us. They engage with it. They share it, which brings us a broader reach to reach new people, new customers. So all of this stuff works together. So it's very important that you focus on growing all of these marketing assets now. Don't wait. Don't think, I have this great idea for this business, or I want to do this stuff in my business, but I'm busy right now. You need to, if you can, grow all these things I just talked about now. Because what's going to happen, it's already happened with Google rankings, for example. I talk about those legacy players, about the rich get richer.